Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I was testing earlier just to see if we have any glitch because yesterday it was not working that well. So I am going to share my screen now. Good morning, everybody. I was testing earlier just to see if we have any glitch because yesterday it was not working that well. So I am going to share my screen now. Good morning, everybody. I was testing earlier just to see if we have any glitch because yesterday it was not working that well. I am going to share my screen now. Good morning, everybody. I was testing earlier just to see if we have any. It seems we're having an echo, so I'm going to let the sound die down. I am going to share my screen now. Good morning, everybody. It seems we're having an echo, so I'm going to let the sound die down. Okay, we'll start anyway. Welcome to your masterclass. The masterclass is about mastering the art of building wealth in 2024 and beyond. If you were here last week, welcome back. If not, we'll start anyway. Welcome to your masterclass. I seem to have an echo. Mastering the art of building wealth. Give me 1 second, please. And beyond. I'm asking my technical team to double check on this, whether there's an echo. If not, we'll start anyway. Welcome to your masterclass. I seem to have an echo. Mastering the art of building wealth. Give me 1 second, please. I'm asking my technical team to double check on this, whether there's an echo. If not, we'll start anyway. Welcome. Give me 1 second. It seems like the few seconds I had on LinkedIn earlier keeps repeating. It seems like the few seconds I had on LinkedIn earlier keeps repeating. So I am not sure why that is. It seems like the few seconds I had on LinkedIn earlier keep repeating. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. So I am not sure. Bear with me if you don't mind. Okay, I think we're good now. Again, welcome. I apologize for this. I don't know what happened with there was some technical difficulty for a few seconds. Thank you for your patience, and let's start now. I was just saying earlier, if you were here last week, welcome back. If not, you're in for a treat. Why do I say that? I'm really excited to be presenting this information because without being overly dramatic, I'm going to say this. This is going to change your life. You don't have to do anything after this presentation. Just getting this information will start getting you different results. Now, this is my promise to you for this hour. You're going to get information that will really start making you think differently, and you're going to start getting results differently. So, and that's my promise. Now, I'm going to make you an offer at the end of the webinar anyway, at the masterclass. And if you want to go really from here to all the way up there. But let's get into it. So 3 questions that I asked about you is, are you ready to get serious about your business? Now, this has been, it could be looked at as, well, what do you mean? Of course I am in business, but I get to talk to people every day. And I cannot tell you how many people have told me, well, I started this business. I wanted to go on my own, to leave my job, and then I don't see the results coming, and I keep asking questions, and I realize, well, you're not really serious about your business. You just wanted to get rid of your boss. But we can fix that. We're going to look at that in a minute. I'm not saying it's you, but a lot of people are doing this, unfortunately. The second question I asked was, are you sick of the same old results? I mean, income, same, no growth. If your income is staying flat, you're losing ground, because in this economy, the inflation is eating us like crazy. We're going to take a look at how we grow this income without working harder, without more hours. I mean, a lot of things that I'm going to say at the beginning will seem like, is that serious? But pretty soon, a few minutes into the webinar, you will see how really things happen in a different way than the conventional wisdom, if you will, have taught us. Are you ready to jumpstart your business to guarantee your future? I think this has a resounding yes each time I ask this question on one-on-one conversation. So let's begin. Now, this is me. My name is Jude, and Jude Dola, and I've been a Proctor Gallagher Institute consultant for the past 16 years, and these things have changed my life. I mean, I started studying with Bob Proctor in 2006. If you don't know of Bob, if you Google Bob Proctor, you will see that he's known as America's prosperity teacher. And this information that we're sharing here today is coming from these gentlemen in front of us here. Now, I didn't originate any of that. I'm a student. I'm a long life student. And my teacher, the one next to me on the second from the right, is Bob Proctor, the white hair guy. Bob started at 26 years old. And he said, you can repeat that because this is true. He said at the time, that's in 1961, he said he was a loser going downhill, picking up speed. Now, when you look at his journey in life, you cannot say this guy is a loser, but he was by his own account. And a long story, but that's who I was studying from now. And he became phenomenally successful in all ways. I mean, we don't talk about just money, in every way. And he left us 2 years ago in February. His teacher, the guy in the middle, Earl Nightingale, really is the one who started this industry of personal development in recorded fashion as we know it today. Earl and his business partner, Lloyd Conant. Earl Nightingale was a very, I don't want to say lucky, but fortunate guy. His teacher, his mentor, was Napoleon Hill, the second on the screen. Napoleon Hill, who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. Now, without blasphemy, Think and Grow Rich is considered as the Bible of personal development, personal growth, and wealth creation. And his teacher was Andrew Carnegie, who came to the US. They landed in Philadelphia. He was an 8-year-old Scottish boy. They were dirt poor. He didn't go to school. At 8 years old, he was sweeping the floor in a factory, a steel mill. And this guy ended up owning the largest conglomerate of steel industry in the world. Well, in the world, because that was in the US. He owned the biggest, conglomerate. I think we can say he did the first merger in terms of business language. He did the first merger ever. And now let's begin. Now, when we're here talking about what we're talking about today, we are talking about results. Now, what is the goal here for this masterclass? We want to understand how the 80-20 rule applies to business success, failure as well. Now, I split the 20 in 15 and 5 because the 80 stays the same. 20% of our results will come from 80% of the effort that we put in business. But I say 5 here because maybe even less than 5% of people are really making it happen like there's no tomorrow. And we can all do that. I didn't think I could, but today I can tell you this is where I live. Another goal for this masterclass is understanding the knowing doing gap. What does that mean? You see, we have all kinds of knowledge and we want to do something with our business, with our life in general, but the knowledge is here. The results keep staying here. And we keep getting more knowledge, looking for more knowledge, more training, more workshops and all that, strategies, but the results stay here. What we're not doing is going up as who we are. We have to become that person who we're looking at the results that are up there. We're going to see that. How do we that? And how do we become the person exactly that? How do we become the person who we need to become to reach the top 5%? That's important. So you're going to walk away, and that is my promise. You're going to walk away with understanding how do we move from the 80 or 95 bucket to the 5% in business. Not just business, relationship, health, money, everything. Because success is not just making money. Like Bob Marley said, some people are so poor. All they have is money. We need more than just money. And we're going to cover that as well. And of course, we're going to walk away with how to close that knowing doing gap. You have people with PhDs all here. They have no meaningful relationship, no money, they can't keep a job. Why? I'm not saying all PhDs, but what I'm saying is you have people with tremendous amount of knowledge, but the results are down here. They keep struggling, and it's frustrating knowing how much we know and not getting the results. Thirdly, it's how to become the business owner, the leader in your own life and the leader in your own industry to reach that next level. Is that good? That's right. We all want time and money freedom. We all want time and money freedom. And I say that because I know everybody does. Some people will tell you money is not important. Money is very important. If you live in a civilized society as we are here today, if you have no money, you have no roof on your head. You have no way of enjoying a good vacation. The car is about money. It's not the money itself. It's not the paper and the ink and maybe a prime minister or a president showing on there, but it's what money gives you. Money gives you freedom. You'll be amazed how much time you have, free time, when you don't have to think about money, meaning you have the money to do what you want to do. You see, being rich is having money, yes, but being wealthy is having time as well. We cannot buy time. We cannot buy time. We can buy experiences. Time keeps running. Now, the focus of today is results. We are always looking for results. And if you look at the way it shows here, this result is under construction. Our results should always be under construction. We cannot be satisfied with where we are. We have to be happy and grateful where we are, but never satisfied, because satisfaction is a very creative state. Dissatisfaction with communication gave us this. This here was in somebody's mind, and now we are using it. Dissatisfaction gave us that. We used to do all this F whatever to get moving on the screen. Now we don't have to do that. We click and we move 50 times faster. Dissatisfaction is a very creative state, but we have to be really grateful and happy with where we are. You see? Now, we say results. How do results happen? How do results just happen? I don't think results just happen. There are two things we must know to get where we are going, to achieve our goals. Now, this is the part where we are going to see why we don't reach our goals. And if you pay attention to this part, you're going to start changing the way you think and the way you do things. Now, my promise to you is this information that we're sharing is already going to help you transform whatever results you're getting. And I want to ask you something from this moment on. Just think of you when we're going through this information. Just pay attention to you. And if you can, this can be your best friend sometimes. Write down a goal as we go through this presentation. And at the end, we will think of that goal that you are writing down at this moment. Just take a few seconds. Write a goal that you've never reached before. And a goal, anyway, is something that we've never done before. If we are doing, I don't know, $50,000 a month, and we write down a goal as 50 or 55,000, it's not a goal. It's all, we've already done that. So we know how to do it. A goal is something that you go after that you've never done before. If you're doing 50 a month, write down 100. And I'm not joking. You'll see how we do that. It's not about strategies. We are talking more about mindset, but it's not just mindset as we throw out the word left, right, and center. Mindset is a different thing. So we need to know two things to achieve our goals, to get to a destination. We need to know where we are, and we need to know where we're going. And where you are is wherever you are, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. We know what that looks like. We think in pictures anyway. If I say your car, you can see a picture of your car on the screen of your mind, not with your eyes, but there's a picture on the screen of your mind. So we know where we are. We know what it looks like, the bank account, what's in the bank account or what's not in the bank account, actually. And we know where we're going. We know what it looks like too. We know what, if we're not happy with the car we're driving, we know what we want to drive. We know what our goal looks like. It's so simple because we decide and obvious, but why is it so difficult? And don't take my word for it. It's difficult for almost everybody. Just look around. People are complaining more than saying they're happy and satisfied. Many people are stuck. Now, for a long time, I thought, well, people don't have goals. That's why they are not moving ahead. And I realized I was not in the right. I mean, I was wrong because even if you don't have goals, it is said 30%, 13 of people have goals and only 3% write their goals. But everybody else, if you ask them questions, they will tell you, are you satisfied? When I ask, what is your goal? And you will hear most people say, well, what do you mean? But if you keep asking questions, you say, is this the car you want to be driving? Is that your ideal car? The answer is no for most people. Where you live, no. And rather, they want different, they want better. If you ask questions, they may not be in the habit of writing their goals, but if you ask questions, they have things they want differently. So these are goals too. So I found that that's not the problem. The problem is where we are here. The problem is where you are. And there's something that we call a paradigm. Now, you may have heard of paradigm in a different way than we're going through it here today. From this moment on, just pay attention to what a paradigm is, and I'm going to show you how this little monster here, the paradigm, is ruling your life and preventing you from getting the things that you want to do, the things that you want to achieve, even if it's health, relationship, money, career, anything. Now, what is a paradigm? A paradigm is defined as a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. Most of what we do, we just do without thinking. It's habitual. Almost all our behavior is habitual. You get out of bed every morning, you just go into motion. You don't say, okay, it's Wednesday today, what do I do on Wednesday morning? We don't do that. We just get out of bed and we go. While we are doing our morning routine, we are thinking of all kinds of things without thinking, this is my toothbrush, this is my coffee. We don't have to. 95% of the time, we are doing things unconsciously. Unconscious? You're breathing right now. I'm sure you were not aware that you were breathing. You were not conscious of it, but it's still going on. All of a sudden, you hear that, you go, it happens all the time. Happens all the time. Your blood is flowing and keeping you healthy. Your food is digesting. You're not aware all this is happening. Most of what we do is being done by our subconscious. Now, to understand that, we have to understand the mind, because everything that we do starts with the mind, starts with a thought. Thoughts are coming from the mind. Now, how do we refer to the mind if we have no picture to work with? Because everything we do, our creature, is we have to have a picture to understand any concept that we talk about. If you talk about something that you can't relate to by a picture, there's confusion. There's a doctor in 1934 who said, we are healing people, but we are healing just symptoms. We're not healing the person holistically. They need to understand the mind so they can understand how the mind heals the body. The body is an instrument of the mind. The body does exactly what the mind tells it to do. Now you may think, what does all this have to do with my business, with my income, with my money? I'm going to tell you this. Stay with me here for another few slides. It has 100% everything to do with how we get results in life. Relationship, money, health, anything. Now he said the mind is not a thing, the mind is an activity, the mind is movement, the mind is energy. We cannot see the mind is not something. The mind is in every cell of our being. The mind is not visible. So in order to gain clarity and eliminate confusion, he said, I will create an image to work with. Now this is what showed up. Now I'm going to tell you this. Honestly, the first time I saw that and say, well, this represents the mind, I thought people were joking. I said, Bob, what is this? It's like a comic book caricature. But you know what? This is genius. Dr. Fleet said, let this top circle represent the mind and the bottom circle represent the body. The first top half is the conscious, and then the second part is the subconscious, of course. This is the body, but this is not how it is. This is not conscious here, subconscious, but it's a picture that we can refer to when we think about the mind. And we're going to use this picture as we go along for the rest of this presentation. Bob said this is the most valuable idea he's ever learned. And I got to understand that, and I got to love this little caricature drawing, which we call a stick person. This really is genius. Now, let's go through the stick person: conscious, subconscious, and the body. You know, the conscious mind is what the part of the mind you're using right now watching this. We are present in what we're doing. We see, it's the part of the mind that you use in school. This is the thinking mind, the intellect, the educated mind, you can call it. The subconscious mind is the emotional part of the mind. Now, let's carry on. The conscious mind can choose an idea. You can show up, something shows up, and you not you show up, something shows up in your mind, and you choose an idea. You can choose, you can accept or reject ideas. You're watching that in 2-3 more slides. You can say, yeah, maybe there's something to it, or you can reject the idea and say, this is nonsense. We have the ability to do that consciously. And of course, if you can do that, you can originate new ideas. You put a few thoughts together and you originate an idea. It's like you're choosing. But the emotional mind cannot do that. The emotional part of the mind, the larger mind as we call it subconscious, unconscious, larger mind, must accept any idea you impress upon it. Now stick with me here. This will make sense in a minute. Cannot accept, must reject. What's important is the subconscious mind cannot determine time, cannot determine now and the past, cannot determine the difference between what's real and what's imagined. If you think of an example, you're watching a movie and you're engrossed in the movie. It's really fascinating, and you start crying. Somebody who's not watching the movie shows up and say, well, what's going on with you? Why are you crying? You go, oh, it's such a sad movie. You have no idea this is what's going on. And the person tells you, you know, these are actors, right? This is all fake. They memorize their lines. They practice the body language to move in a certain way and to do certain things. The blood is fake. Nobody's getting killed. And you say, now you're present. You're talking. You say, oh, I know. Of course. It's just entertainment. The person leaves. You continue watching the movie. Another scene a few minutes later, you start crying again. You forget completely. You're drawn into the movie. subconsciously, you have no idea whether it's real or it's imagined. It's the subconscious part. It's the subconscious mind is the emotional part of the mind. And that's a very important part of the mind that we have. It runs our life. We will see in a second why. This is the beginning. This is when we show up as a baby. Day one. A baby being born, doesn't have a conscious mind, doesn't have reasoning factors. The baby doesn't know that it doesn't know I'm here. What's going on? None of that. But it's a human being, so the subconscious mind is there, wide open. You can dump anything you want into it. And I use the word dump all the time because that's what we're doing. Whatever information, rules, beliefs, anything that's going on around that baby is going straight into the subconscious mind. If you think of how a baby starts speaking at around 2 years old, some a little earlier, but 2 years old is generally the time frame that babies started to communicate with the people around them. Who teaches a baby to speak? Who taught you to speak your first language? Nobody. You absorbed everything that was going on for a couple of years in your environment, and without paying attention, you put sound to movement to people doing things, and you start to understand the rules as well. You may break the rules later, but you get what the rules are because you're in the environment. It's the environment that's conditioning your subconscious mind and eventually your behavior, and we call that a paradigm. Now, belief is huge. If you grow up in an environment where there is always criticizing, complaining, and nothing is good, money is hard, the neighbors are not good people, or whatever it is, you will never be looking for opportunities when you grow up. You will always be in that negative vibe because this is your programming. You accept all this same as you accepted the language that you're speaking. You accepted that without even knowing. You see parents talking in front of a child, 6 months, few weeks, 1 year old, they're arguing about money. The kid is not paying attention, not consciously. The parent is not paying attention to the kid because the child, he doesn't understand what's going on, he or she. But the recording is going on and on and on. And our beliefs about money starts from the environment where we were just being nurtured, growing up from 0 to 7. It used to be 5 and then it became 6. And now psychology is telling you 7 years is like the length, the formative years, as they say. At that time, a little boy or girl is very impressionable. Whatever you tell them, they can't argue. They have no ability to reason. They accept everything that's going on. Very few people grow up in an environment where there is good things going on, good talk, opportunities. We look for opportunities. We love people. We love our neighbors. It's all good. It's not when Aunt Martha comes home to visit, we are very pleased and we compliment her on whatever it is. And as soon as she leaves, we start talking. Can you believe what she said? Can you believe what she's wearing? All this may sound like a joke, but we gather all this information and we become this. Paradigm dictates our behavior, dictates how we speak, dictates what we believe in, everything. And very importantly, this is where our self-image is being born. Your self-image, we're going to talk a little deep about self-image a little later. Your self-image dictates how you show up. Paradigm. You see, we'll have somebody who's now an adult, and there's a picture in the house, everything looks good, and we believe so. But inside, there's a little boy that's still crying. Many circumstances when we talk about money, when we talk about relationship, there's something that's nagging at that little boy. And this is going, oh girl, this is going to prevent you from doing the things that you want to do with peace of mind. There's always something going on and we don't know what it is. Now I'm showing you. This is what it is. This is the programming that was done to you before You even started to actually reason. 0 to 7 years old. You see, we are the product of someone else's habitual way of thinking. Parents got the same thing from the grandparents and on and on. Many generations. Many generations. Paradigm literally controls the lives of most people. We're going to get a little more in more detail about the controlling of your life in a few more slides, because this is such an important topic that I believe schools should be teaching us that, in high school at least, paradigms. I mean, we're going to continue on in the paradigm, but let me say this. If any parent with little children started to understand paradigms, how to raise those children, and it continues on like that, in a couple of generations, you will see no wars, you will see no poverty, you will see nothing bad happening. Paradigm. And that's a guarantee. At the end of this presentation, you will agree with me. If we start changing paradigms all over, the world will start floating like a buzz. I mean, this is what we need to be doing. Now, what does that mean, changing your paradigm? It's rewriting the strict scripts that had been written for you. And nobody asked you for your permission. Parents and the people around you, they were just behaving as they were. They were behaving as they knew, not even knew. They were behaving as they were programmed. And you got all this, a lot of it is nonsense, and that was dumped into you. You can rewrite those scripts. If it was programmed into you, it can be deprogrammed and reprogrammed. You can choose. We're going to show you how we do that. Now, you do this by facing the programming, by being aware, by accepting the fact that, when I want to do certain things, I want it here. Consciously, I know I want to do that, but at the end of the day, when I look back and it didn't happen. Why? Programming. You do what you habitually do without even thinking, oh, I should be doing this. Look at when you're driving. Before you know how to drive, you're all hands and gears and don't talk to me, I'm paying attention. You turn the corner, you don't want to oversteer, you want to. Once you get your license and you've been driving for a little while, you've been programmed. Same as when you were a baby, for language and beliefs and all that. Once you get it going, you're not paying attention to the driving. Who's driving? You're not consciously driving. You're on the phone, people are talking, you notice this car, nice car. You're changing lanes, you're putting your signal, you're checking your blind spot, you change lanes safely without paying attention, without consciously knowing you're doing it. Think of your driving. You don't think, okay, I'm going to put my signal now because I'm going to change lanes. I'm going to check you don't do that. We're on the phone, we're doing this. We're talking, we're doing this. And we get to our destination. Who did the driving? Subconscious. Everything changes when you change your paradigm. Now, we talked about self-image. The paradigm there, your self-image is built into your paradigm. Your self-image is a perception of who you are. That's your perception and what you are. And we have two images. We have an inner and an outer image. You can show up like $1,000,000 in an environment. You're going there, you're well dressed, hair done, everything is good. You walk into a room full of strangers, most people will go look for a familiar face and then stick with that person. One person or two, or very few people will walk in and start shaking hands. How are you? How do you do? I'm so and so, and very few people do that. They say salespeople do that. But I think very few people do that. Like we call that outgoing, we call that extrovert or whatnot. But it's that image that you have inside that is preventing you from really showing up and being who you are. It's not that you have to find to become somebody else. We already have it here. We have to get it out. And that's what we're going to talk about next. You see, your results are always a reflection of the image of you hold in yourself. Whatever is going on here shows up on the outside. Your results is a reflection of how you're programmed. That's your self-image. Your self-image controls your behavior. Here's the paradigm again. But very importantly, you can never outperform your self-image. If your self-image is this high, That's as much as you will go. You can go up there, but you cannot outperform here. You have to improve your self-image. Then you keep going up. Your self-image was handed over to you. Paradigm again. You can change that to live up to your potential, but it's your responsibility to change it. You are not responsible for receiving it if it was a bad combination of whatever you were given and dumped into your subconscious, but you're responsible to change it if you want better results. If you want better results mean earning more money. How do you do that? By becoming the person who already have the capacity, the knowledge, the skills, all kinds of knowledge and skills. For most people, they don't get the results that match those knowledge and skills. The results stay the same. Let's carry on. Now, for me, I can talk about this because I happen to have done this. I changed my paradigm. In 2006, I was an employee. I was working for the Campbell Soup Company. I was a credit manager. And I had this lack and limitation paradigm because I grew up in an environment where everything was very difficult. We are afraid of all kinds of things, and we don't dare do anything. And I know for a fact that maybe 90% of people grew up like that. Just like this, and I do mean just like this. I was talking to I will show you that in a second. I was talking to my mentor in June of 2006. And I got my number six in August of 2008. How did I do that? I couldn't even tell you technically how I did it, but I'm going to tell you what I did. I ended up with time and money freedom because I believed him. 5 rental properties with our own home. And I say less than 3 years, 2 years and a couple of months. To do this, I had to believe what my mentor was telling me. He said, believe in my belief in you. And I accepted the idea, and I started working on my inner image, my self-image. Now, where did he get that? In 1961, I was saying he was a loser, he was not going anywhere, he owed everybody he knew money. And his first mentor, Ray Stanford, I mean, the name is irrelevant, but Raymond Stanford told him, Bob, you don't believe what I'm telling you. Like I'm telling you, you can have anything you want, but you don't believe that. He said, believe in my belief in you. He said, once I accepted the idea, I've been telling people that we all have the same potential. Our paradigm gets in the way and we don't do anything. And some people have all kinds of knowledge, but they go through life miserable. No money, no meaningful relationship, no nothing, because nobody tells them. They were just having these paradigms dumped into them. I believed in my belief, in his belief in me. But then I started working on my inner image. I just didn't get the belief, and that was it. I started paying attention to what he was teaching me, and I was working on my mind, on my inner image, on my self-image, on my paradigm. I followed directions, and that's important. We have to be able to follow directions. We have to be able to be coachable if we want to change results. Why real estate? Because I believe that's where it's the best place to put your money. I don't give advice on real estate. I don't tell people what to do. But I was able to do this in a couple of years. While I was studying, Bob didn't tell me what to do, when to wake up in the morning, what time to go to bed, what to eat or whatnot. But the teaching that I was getting, the studies, I got an idea when I went to the real estate industry to talk about this is what I want to do. I got the idea of the real estate agent had to be a real estate investor. The real estate lawyer had to be an investor. Even the home inspector, everybody on my team had to be a real estate investor. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I was creating a small mastermind. I understood the concept much later, but it's starting to understand how my mind works, how my paradigm has to go. And I started doing things differently, doing things in a certain way. And it happens. If it happens to me, if it happened to Bob, who didn't go to school, by the way, he was kicked out of school in grade 9. And I was only in a university course when I was 33 years old. I did my high school exam twice to pass. I mean, if I look at what I was doing, I will say I am not smart. So that's not true. Paradigm. Paradigm dictates everything in your life. That's why we have to have goals. We change our paradigms. If we have a goal and we want to achieve something, we are going to be compelled and we are going to move forward. Robert Heinlein said in a book, Strangers in a Strange Land. Yes, that's the book. In 1960, the book came out. He said, in the absence of clearly defined goals, we become strangely loyal to performing the daily trivia until we become enslaved by it. When I saw that the first time, I really didn't understand what that meant. Daily trivia. When I started getting it, I realized I was performing daily trivia every day. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know that I didn't know where I was going. Stick person once more. Now, we can see, hear, smell, taste, touch. We have 5 senses. Now, that's one thing. These are the tools that we use to communicate with the outside world. We see something, we hear something, we say something. Our senses, but our senses was given to us to keep us out of danger. When once upon a time we were living in caves, we had to have an acute sense of hearing to keep us out of danger. Smell, sight, maybe not taste, but we needed to see, hear, smell to keep us out of danger. Can you see that? And that's what we have. Now, thinking part. We understand now the thinking part is the knowing part of the mind. This is where thoughts are coming up. And we'll keep that for the end. Emotional part is the subconscious. This is the responsible for the doing. And that's where feelings are, because we have thoughts. If that thought is not associated with a feeling, we don't do anything. We don't move. We let it go. Whatever we do, our thoughts that we pick up, and we really want to do something, it's the feeling that's attached to the thought that's going to allow us to move into whatever the vibration is and to get into action. Good, bad, whatever. And that's what gives our results. I mean, if you want to get creative, the action will suggest a reaction in the marketplace from people, from whatever circumstance. And the action reaction, depending on how they move, that's what creates our results. But, I have a little dog at home here who can see, smell, hear, taste, and touch. The dog can have all these. The dog needs those senses. But we are the only creature that we know of that have intellectual factors. These are your mental muscles. These are our higher faculties. We're the only creature that has intuition. Intuition. Somebody is really paying attention. You're not paying attention, that is, and you're looking wherever you are, and somebody behind you focusing on you, really paying attention to you. You have no idea why. You start feeling uneasy. Nobody's here touching you or anything. You start feeling weird. You look around, sure enough, somebody was focused on you and they turn around and whatnot. Imagination is Einstein said imagination is a preview of life's coming attraction. I think imagination is really the workshop of the future. I mean, we can use our imagination to go into the future because we think in images and we see where we want to be. We come back and we make it happen. That's how people, the successful, does it. Perception. Our perception is our point of view. You have two people looking at the same situation. One will see a difficulty, one will see a big opportunity. They are both right, depending on their paradigm. Same situation. Which one do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Seeing the opportunity and making it happen? Or being afraid to do something and seeing a difficulty everywhere? Paradigm. Reason gives us the ability to think. Can you get the picture? We know all these by words. I mean, we know there's our words, but in school, we never learned to use these higher faculties to our own benefit. This is what you're going to have to put in place, and we're going to show you how to do that. Now let's look at the area. We're talking about paradigms here. Let's look at the areas of your life where your paradigm has a big influence over. Now, we said perception. You miss a lot of opportunities if you have a bad perception of things. Your perception is influenced by your paradigm, your use of time. You have people will tell you, "Oh, I don't have time to do this. I know I want to do this. I don't have time." We all get 24 hours. We get all there is. But it's how we choose to use our time that will give us the results that we want. We don't have time to do certain things. We don't have time to read a book for half an hour every day to learn something new. But you will see the same people telling you that. They're probably watching a couple of hours of TV every night. It's the choice. Your paradigm will dictate where you put your use of time. Your creativity. You'll hear people saying, "I used to, I'm not creative. I wasn't good at that. I wasn't good at this." But we are all creative. We are not just developing our creativity. And that again, if you're creative, how will your effectiveness go? Paradigm. When you're creative, you'll be very effective in whatever you're doing, and that will improve your productivity. And of course, your logic. Your paradigm is really in charge of your life. Logic. What logic is there in over 400 ton of lift capacity? An Airbus will just lift off like a feather. There are 400 people in there. The law of gravity says if you let it go, whatever is heavier than air will be attracted to the center of the earth. So we call it going down. How is that plane staying there for 12 hours or whatever it is? Doesn't matter. We actually didn't go with logic. The Wright brothers they have a goal, they knew what they wanted, they see it in their mind, and they said, "We are going to do this." And you know what happens? We're using the law of gravity to keep that thing in the air. Creativity. Paradigm keeps most people down. You see, when we have all this going on, of course, our ability to earn money, because our productivity and our effectiveness will give us the ability to earn money. But when all this is going on, we have a wall around us. We are blocked. We try to understand where do we go, and nothing happens. And we are not aware, most people are not aware that their programming is keeping them down. But I wasn't aware. I suppose you were not aware of this very concept of paradigm, that we can kick it out. Now we understand paradigm. Now we're seeing that we understand. And when we start moving, the wall come down. The wall will come down. However, nothing changes. We know we can. We know we are able to. We understand what's going on. We understand who we are. Paradigm comes down. But we have to change the paradigm. When we do that, the change will be huge. We're not changing habits. Old habits die hard. We go to the source of what we need to get the new results. If we focus on the results and we try to change it, this is what we're doing in most cases. It's like a band-aid. We go to the source of the problem. We go to the cause, and the effect disappears. If we try to fix the effect, it will go there, not permanent. The change will be permanent. The change will be permanent in all areas. And that means if you change one area of your life, it affects the other areas because your thinking is different. Your paradigm is being reprogrammed, and you do that according to how you want to see it. What do you think it will do to your use of time if you started understanding how we change our paradigm? How will your use of time affect your perception? Your perception is your point of view again. You may find something difficult to do today, and all of a sudden you say, "Well, we can do this. We can do this." And you start building or setting a goal that is bigger than you've ever thought before, and your perception is changed. Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at something, the thing you look at changes. I think he was talking about paradigm. That will give you the ability to earn more money. And you're not going to be working harder or working more hours. It's understanding. I think Solomon says, if we get anything, get understanding. I believe this is a really black and white deal. It doesn't matter how hard you work or how many hours you put in. If the paradigm doesn't change, ultimately the results will remain the same. Excuse me. You may try to change something, but when you try to change a habit, it comes back. We say old habit die hard. When you try to put in more hours, mean things are not working. Why would you be putting more hours? Mean things are not working. You work harder and harder on things that don't work. It goes to burnout. I hope this is making sense. You see? That's right. Results always tell the truth. If you want to know where your paradigm is, look at your results. Look at your results. Look at your results. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The mind once stretched by a new idea never returns to its original dimension." Now, when we talk about paradigm changing permanently, this is what we're talking about. You never go back. You can't go back. You cannot. If you want to go back, you have to rework on your paradigms. It's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not. That's another thing about perception and self-image. Now, let me ask you this. We're almost done. What do you think of yourself? Where's your self-image saying you are? What are you doing? Right? What are you doing? When paradigms stay in control, nothing changes. Nothing changes. If you look at what's going on here today in the economy, in the world, if you watch the news, you are under attack, everything is going down the drain, or so it seems. We're on a sinking ship. We don't want to go down with the ship. We want to get out, get the lifeboat, and go on a better ship. It's out there. It's out there. I want to share with you, it's a 2-minute clip, what 6 of our, I say 6 because there are 6 of our people who've worked with us say what they've been able to do. And without working hard, and a lot of people who work with us, they don't want to go on camera. I have people in real estate who go from a couple of houses to 10 houses selling a year. I said, give me a testimonial. They say no. A lot of them say no. Why? They don't want people to know that they got help. And that's a limitation. I say, you will work on that and you will change that. I believe if I need help, I go ask for help and I tell people I got help. Look at what I've been able to do. Let's take a look at what they are saying. It takes 2 minutes.
And so every year I'd say, well, I'm going to work a little harder and work a little harder. Like if I can make $50,000 a year more, I could do all kinds of things. And then at the end of the year, it's like, man, it's the same old thing, 5,000, 10,000 up or down. It was like I was stuck in this income rack. And I thought, what's going on? Maybe it's the company.
My family was just going down the tubes, really lost it one day, and I just snapped. And I started yelling, "You're there, I need help, like this is the time, let me know."
My company has increased exponentially. I owe a lot to TAR just to give me even the confidence to even hire somebody.
It's unbelievable what's happened.
Wayne is a real estate agent.
At that time, I was at
Now, Chris,
70 or 80,000,
I think we're good
and
now.
we're on target to hit
Again, welcome.
over
I apologize for
$500,000 in
this. I don't know what
sales
happened
this year.
with the,
I have
with,
restructured
why
the whole
are we having
brought in a
noise?
business partner, given away my responsibilities in the company, hired in sales reps. Now I am attracting more people who want to take my company in different divisions that I wasn't even really contemplating. I've written the book. I'm in the process of how do I get it out there publishing. I'm scared to death, but I'm doing it.
I actually want to do what I was afraid of.
There's background noise. I don't know where it's coming from.
That I would walk into the office of a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company and not be terrified, and actually be longing to meet with them.
Everything has changed. So I've learned that I really do have infinite potential.
It's limitless.
And as a result,
differently. So, and that's my
magical
problem.
things have happened
Now,
beyond my
to make you an
expectations.
offer at the end.
If I can use a dash word, it'd be life-changing.
And if
life-changing.
you want to go really
Phenomenal
from here to
gift.
all the way up there.
Going through this
But,
course,
let's get into it.
somebody handed
Three
you
questions.
a
I apologize, I don't know where the background noise is coming from. Are you ready
package to
to get
say,
serious about your business?
here,
Now, this has
go
been
through this. Here are
it could
the
be
instructions to
looked
be
at as,
who you were
well,
meant
what
to
do you
be.
mean now?
Knowing what I know now, if
But
I
I
even
get
knew
to talk
that
to
then,
people every day.
I probably
Every
would have
day.
paid double
And I
make the decision and do it. Period. There's no,
I started this business.
like, what are you waiting for?
To go on my own, to leave my job, and then I don't see the results coming. And I don't understand why. And I realized
what's going on.
You're really serious about your business. You just wanted to get rid of your boss, but we can fix that. We're going to look at that.
I don't understand why.
I'm not saying it's you, but a lot of people are doing this, unfortunately. The second question I asked was, are you sick of the same old results? I mean, income, same no growth. If your income is staying.
Okay, let's carry on. I don't know what happened. How come it's like a recording replaying from the beginning. I apologize for that. I don't know how this happened. Anyway, they are talking about thinking into results. When Chris said TIR, he was talking about thinking into results. Chris was making 85,000 a year as a small contractor, doing renovations in people's house in the Cambridge area. And all these people are from Ontario. And he left. He sold his company. He's now working with the Procter Gallagher. He was so impressed, and the results were phenomenal. How do you go from 85 to 500,000 in 1 year, right? Well, Bob Proctor was doing $4,000 a year as a firefighter. When he started working on this, he started making, after a year, $14,000 a month. I mean, we're talking 1960s. This program is designed to change paradigm. And Bob wrote that after 50 years of studying the mind. You see? And, we know that school gives us valuable knowledge, but they don't teach us how to alter our old paradigms. They don't, because they don't know. Therefore, we frequently do not do what we already know how to do. We don't do it as well. We get by, but we're not going up there. We get by, it's here. And if you want to grow, to do better, everybody should, right? We are God's highest form of creation. There's nothing that will equal the human being in no other form of life. And yet we live little lives. Superior knowledge. When you get the inferior results, it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. You see, we look at the stick person once again last time, is we piled the books up there. We piled the books, all kinds. We have all kinds of degrees, letters falling off the business card. When we go out in the marketplace, we are working now, we want results. But the results will always be to the level of our paradigm. If what we want to do is contrary, if the paradigm says no, it doesn't happen. If we want better results, you want to build a new paradigm. And this is such a simple concept. And yet we go to all kinds of trainings, we keep piling the books up there, we keep learning more, looking for more strategies. We don't know, we don't need any more. What we need to do is look in the mirror and say, we need to change this. We need to upgrade who we are. We need to really change this paradigm, improve the self-image. Once you do that, things start to change. Your thinking is different. Your behavior is different. The way you speak is different. Everything changes. And that's where you start doing the knowing and doing gap. You start going from all knowing to showing the results that's based on all this knowing. The doing and doing gap. You see? If you really pay attention, you'll see that your paradigm has total control over your life, your income, your health, your relationship. Relationship is huge. Everything in your life. By changing it's a very simple concept. But you have to do it. You have to make a decision to change your results. If this is what you want, isn't it time? Isn't it time to really transform your dreams into reality? You see, we dream of all kinds of things. We want a better vacation. When we walk into the airplane, we want to turn left instead of turning right. We can do that. Very simple thing to do. Your goals into achievement, isn't it time? Isn't it time to change your thinking into results? You see, we have families. These ideas are not just to make money, but it's everything. How do we raise children? If we start doing that, if we are able to put that in everybody's hand, and we start raising children differently, I can repeat that in a couple of generations, if you will. The whole world will change because it's all here. We look for answers, we look for solutions out there. We have to start here, inward. As within, so without. Okay? This was done with the idea of organizing information that is intelligently directed to affect your subconscious mind, to change those paradigms. You see, successful people make decisions very quickly. We are at the top of the hour. Make decisions quickly and firmly. And successful people make decisions slowly, and they change them often. They're still making a decision 6 months later. Are we going to still do this? Doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And it gives frustration. I want to say this. If your income is staying the same, the way the economy is going, your standard of living is going down. Your purchasing power is going down day after day. I mean, look at everything around you. Don't just take my word for it. There's evidence everywhere. What you want to do is raise your standard of living to meet your income. Refuse to lower your standard of living, that is. Take your income up to meet your standard of living. Raise that standard of living. You will be happier. You will be healthier. You will be wealthier. This is the answer. You create your own economy. Can you see that this is within reach? I'm not even going to say, is it possible? Of course it is. All we have to do is make a decision. Like, this is something that I just added last minute. I say everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die to get there. We don't want to die of our old self to become the new person that we are already here. It's inside. Because we are so engrossed in what we do all the time, every day and day in, day out, and we are driven completely by our subconscious mind. We go by habit and we keep going by habit, and it doesn't change. Change is easy, but we have to want to do it. We have to want to see our income growing. We have to want to see our family is happier. We have to want things. And that's the only prerequisite, as Bob Proctor said. If you want to achieve a goal, the only thing that you need at the beginning is to want it. We've covered how we move from the 80 to the 20 or to the 5. 80-20 rule, 95-5 rule. This is how you do it. How do you change? How do you close the knowing and doing gap? By changing your paradigm. You see, the mindset will get you into the 5% bucket. You change your paradigm to start closing those gaps and showing up as who you are. How do you become the individual, the business owner, the leader to reach the next level? Self-image. It's all here. It's all in the paradigm. Buckminster Fuller, if you've heard of him, was a thinker, an architect in the 20th century America. He says, never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Because if you fight to change something, whatever we resist, persist. It will keep showing up. You let the old paradigm die out of nourishment, lack of nourishment, and you build a new one. You come out a winner. You get exactly what you want. Do you know what you want? I said to write the goal at the beginning. Did you write the goal? If you didn't, you can write it down now. Is this what you really want, though? And you have to know why you want what you want. Otherwise, emotionally, you are not going to be attaching anything to your goal. The goal has to go down to the emotional level. We think of the goal intellectually. This is fine. We can say anything we want. But how much emotion do we put into it? That's the paradigm again. You change your paradigm, you change your life. You change your life. When you change your paradigm, You want to understand something. Be the star in your own movie. There's too much of that going on where the large majority of people, they are extras in their own movie. Your movie is your life. Your movie is your life. Write the scripts, direct the movie, take the lead role. Be proud of your accomplishments. I can tell you where I was and where I am today. It's night and day, as Bob Proctor says. It's night and day. You owe it to yourself if you want to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. Health, nothing to do with doctors. But the way you start thinking, the way your thinking creates all kinds of ulcers and nonsense in the body. We know that. When you change the way you start thinking, you're going to start being healthier and wealthier as well. And of course, happier, because you decide. You decide. I said questions here because usually when we do it in a meeting type of room, of Zoom, we can talk about, talk back and forth asking questions. But it came out as a webinar format, so we're not really able to do that here. But I want to invite you to get in touch with me. At the beginning, I said, I'm going to make you an offer to talk. I'm not here to sell you anything, not yet, because we want to be honest. Yes, I sell my services, but only if you decide you want to do this. But you can still have a call, get on a Zoom call or a phone call or whatnot. Check my website, that's the bottom of the page here. And you decide where you go from there. And I wish you well, and I look forward to hearing from you and to be talking to you. I'm going to leave that on the screen for a few minutes so you can take down the information. Have a wonderful day.